When We Were Young, 2024, all album plays. Front to back, back to front. Probably not. 57 records in total, and we here at the Emo Social Club are reviewing all 57 of them to let you know, are they good? Are they bad? Do we like them?
Is this something we're actually going to listen to forever or never listen to ever again?
And on this episode, we are reviewing Story of the Year's Page Avenue, an album that just celebrated 20 years.
Yeah, that's wild
All right.
to me. Absolutely insane.
Lizzie, why don't you tell us a little bit about this record and the background and the band of Story of the Year?
This was their debut album. It came out on September 16, 2003 on Maverick Records. It was produced by the one and only John Feldman.
Sure was.
There were 3 whole singles off of this album. It was Until the Day I Die, Anthem of Our Dying Day, and Sidewalks. It was certified gold in April of 2004 and certified platinum in 2021. So that's pretty sick. It was also number 1 on the Billboard Heat Seekers charts. And number 51 on Billboard 200 chart. So it did pretty well right out the gate.
You're going to want to stick around till the end of this video because we actually interviewed Story of the Year and asked them a little bit about this record on their 20-year anniversary of it. So stay tuned till the end. We'll have some clips of our interview with Story of the Year so you can hear a little bit more from the band themselves on this record. And remember to subscribe to our channel. We are going through all 57 albums. We have a playlist down in the description where you can check out all the ones we've done so far, all the ones that are coming up. If you're subscribed to us, that's the only way you'll know when we get to the album that you're very excited for, or maybe we've already done it. So subscribe, like, comment, let us know what you think about it. Here are my thoughts on Page Avenue by Story of the Year. When I first saw this band, it was on MTV. MTV had music videos.
So crazy, so
I'm
wild.
blowing minds here.
I know, you're blowing the youth out of the water here.
So I saw this on MTV because there was right around that scene when like My Chem, The Used, Hawthorne Heights, like a lot of these bands started to get on TRL and stuff. And Story of the Year was another band started to like get caught up in that wave. So their music video came up. And my immediate thought was, these are industry plants.
Stop.
Because it was so perfectly done with like doing guitar flips and backflips and the riffs they were playing, the breakdowns and the singing and the screaming. I was like, this is too perfect. Like, this is way too set up, right? And then like I was like, let me listen to it because I am enjoying Until the Day I Die. I'm enjoying Anthem or Dying Day. Let me listen to this record. And like, damn, like immediately I was like, nope, this is great. This is a stupendous record. This is so good, so much fun. Every song's a banger. So I liked this record from jump. I was super into it. Obviously, Until the Day I Die and Anthem of Our Dying Day are massive hits for the band. I've also seen them live a bunch of times. So I definitely know their music from them live. Warped Tour, tours they've done since, many venues around Chicago. They're great. They're a superb live band. Super fun to see. That also is one of the reasons I like this band so much in that way too. My top 3 tracks from Page Avenue by Story of the Year, not picking the singles, not picking Until the Day I Die, Anthem of a Dying Day, skipping those, but obviously those are absolute blasts. In the Shadows should have been a single. That song is so good.
Okay.
That song is so much fun. It's an absolute ripper. It gets the people moving. It gets the people grooving. Love that song. Dive Right In. I think that's an underrated song on this record. It comes right after like all the singles and all like the heavy hitters at the top. And I still think it keeps that momentum going a little bit. It definitely is. The record has some multifaceted parts where it's like, here's a little bit softer, here's a little bit more melodic, here's a little bit more heavy, here's a little bit more punk rock. And I think this is one of the ones where it's like, it's doing something kind of in the middle there and keeping the pace, like adjusting and you're not getting one note from the band. So I think that's an underrated banger for sure. It was hard to pick a third one because I'm like, this record rules. I love this record. So I picked And the Hero Will Drown, the first track, which I think is also just a real kick 'em in the ass, get it started. You're never going to go wrong with a song like that. So I think that's the kind of stuff that Story of the Year does really well on this record. There's a few songs that sound more like that. I think Until the Day I Die and Anthem are a little bit different from a lot of the rest of the record. But I think when they hit In the Shadows, Hero Will Drown, more of those like banger type shit, those are the ones where I'm like, yes, I get it. And I am in. The riffs are good. The breakdowns are good. Yeah. So it's very hard to pick a top 3. My least favorite tracks from Page Avenue by Story of the Year. None. This record is absolute heat. It's fire from top to bottom. That's the reason they can do a tour, do a 20-year tour playing every song. It's why I went platinum. That's why it's such a great distillation of that sound from that era. I don't think there's a bad track of the bunch. I certainly can't pick one. We'll see what you do, but I certainly could not pick a bad song off this record. I think that it's super fun, super catchy, and John Feldman couldn't mess it up.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Finally getting Feldman his flowers here for you.
Story of the Year being it's their debut record. Yeah, it's the same with the Used. It's their debut record. You can't really do something wrong with that because the songs are all fire. All hits, no misses. But I certainly am saying
it's very solid.
This is a solid record, a heater of a record.
Okay. Brian's not going to have to beat my ass this time. So my takes about Story of the Year is Page Avenue. Here's the thing. I've heard a Story of the Year and I've heard the story so far, and there's too many story bands, so I always get them mixed up.
Only two. There's
one too many. So I always get them mixed up, and I never even, honestly, I'm be so for real. I'd never heard a Story of the Year until probably like 2017 when I started going to like emo nights. And I heard Until the Day I Die, and I said, wow, this is a great song. Who is it? Basically, TLDR, I had absolutely no information or actual inkling about this band until very, very recently. But overall, my thoughts on this, like, this was really, really good. And I found myself stopping a lot of the times because I put it on when I was like multitasking. But I would stop doing whatever I was doing and say, how did I miss this? This is really good.
Yep.
I was kind of floored by it. And I think the thing is, too, if we keep bringing up John Feldman, this is where Brian was right. Feldman does have a sound, and I fucking hate that.
You start to hear it.
I hate it so much.
Yep.
It really drew me in because a lot of this, I'm like, I hear The Used, I hear Hawthorne Heights, I hear all of these bands that I listened to when I was younger. And then it also got me thinking, I'm like, do I have like any other bands that weren't like more popular that I listened to when I was younger that were in this vein? I said, no, it's actually it's literally just these three bands, Hawthorne Heights, The Used, and Aiden, canceled. My top three from Page Avenue by Story of the Year. Same as you, dive right in. Mm-hmm. I stopped and I said, this riff is Dead in the Water by Hawthorne Heights, my favorite Hawthorne Heights song. Yep. And you got my ass. You got me. It was really constructed well. And it had a lot of different elements, like a lot of these other bands that I already listened to growing up. So it was immediately a hit for me and my little dumb brain. And The Hero Will Drown is another one right out the opener. I was like, yeah, this is, you hear the song open with this, and I am immediately bum rushing to the middle of the pit and shoving whoever's in there. Like, we're all in it. We're all ready to go. It's high energy, and it gives me vibes of like early The Used again, absolutely. Too. The other one I really did like was Divide and Conquer. It slowed it down a little bit, but it has this really good nostalgia post-hardcore vibe when it's coming back out of it. All right, so the ones that I wasn't really stoked on for Page Avenue by Story of the Year, honestly, it was hard to pick. I think the only one I had maybe a slight qualm with was Sidewalks, just because it's a ballad and I don't like ballads. And that was it. Otherwise, everything was great. It was pure fire. It's
such heat. When we talked to them about it and Sidewalks being a single and it's like, yeah, we wanted more of that ballad sound to be out there. It was of the time when it's like, let's have one of these on the record. But it is a lower point as far as like tempo and volume, but I think that it is something that shows this band is not just a flash in the pan. They are really a band that knows their shit and is super talented and can write good songs and is super fun to be listening to and to seeing live. So even when you do that, it's like, yeah, but it's still fun. Still fun. All right, that's what we thought about Story of the Year's Page Avenue, but we are not the only one thinking about Story of the Year's Page Avenue. So I went to Amazon reviews. Lizzie went to critic websites, publications, to find reviews from other people and what they thought about this record. So I'm going to read a couple off of Amazon and give you a little taste of what the people think about this. This is not a negative review. It's 3 stars.
Okay.
From 2004 from Discarnate, titled, "It is indeed the story of the year. The advent of screamo and the saturation of popular music with bands that pretty much all sound and look alike. The writing of songs that explain emotions that have been discussed time and time again. the use of cliche after cliche to create an album that fits right in. But unfortunately, that isn't a good thing. Story of the Year is basically the bastard child of Finch and the Used, maybe with the DNA of a few other generic screamo bands dripping off the edges as well. The songs are mediocre, both in the music and the generic lyrics that pervade mainstream music nowadays. The same bland scenarios are driven into the ground, leaving the listener with a bad taste in his or her mouth, as well as a bit of deja vu. Haven't I heard this before? Finch? The Used? Matchbook Romance? Maybe just the same old stuff. Insert new rock station of your area here plays. It is sure to issue from your mouth. Conclusion. If you have $15 and are just burning alive to expand your collection of just average CDs, this is what you've been looking for.
Homie's a hater.
Yeah, that dude's wrong.
That's a hater.
Imagine having an AFI reference as a username and being like, I don't like Page Avenue by Story of the Year. That's fucking crazy.
Could not relate. I have some critic reviews here. I have no idea when this was published, but it was on AllMusic by Stephen Kramer, and they gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Taking influence from a variety of modern rock, the quintet delivers a solid dashboard confessional-like spirited first effort from beginning to end. Page Avenue shows a band hell-bent on composing youthful anthems for the 21st century, hitting their target more often than not. Produced by John Feldman of Goldfinger. Dan Marcella's unyielding vocals certainly highlight the disc, along with the band's steady and layered instrumentation. The band's energy feeds off of agitation and frustration, and while they don't really offer anything new, their solid execution of the 12 songs on Page Avenue certainly impresses.
Yeah.
See, that's how you rate a review.
That is how you write a review.
3 out of 5 review.
Yep. We are going to tell you whether or not you should see this record at When We Were Young, but before we do, here are some clips from our interview with Story of the Year where they talk to us about this record. Emo Social Club, we are here with Story of the Year.
That is us. Hi, I'm Dan.
I'm Ryan. I play guitar.
And I played the lead vocals, dude.
We really just need to emphasize
I don't want anybody mistaken that I'm in the lead vocal slot, dude.
No backup.
This is the 20-year anniversary tour.
Yes.
And this is the second time you've done an anniversary tour for Page Avenue. So how has it been now at 20 years compared to 10 years ago when you did the 10-year anniversary tour?
I'm so sick of this album.
I think the main difference is, like, culturally, like the emo, screamo, this genre, like right now is having such like a huge moment that wasn't the case 10 years ago. You know, it was just kind of diehard super fans at that reunion. And this one, I feel like is just bigger in scope just because the genre is bigger in scope right now. And for us, just there's so much nostalgia wrapped up in this record. That's the coolest part, is that it's not just the songs, it's all the memories you have attached to the songs, and to share that with a sold out venue full of people, it's like pretty fucking awesome, you know?
Yeah, it feels great. It's great to have a record that we can play 20 years later, front to back, and people care still, and it's amazing. It's a weird thing. It does not feel that old, does not feel like it's 20 years, but time flies when you're kicking ass.
There you go.
Obviously, we know the singles, Until the Day I Die, Anthem of a Dying Day. Do you remember when the album was coming out, what the decision was to put those 2 songs out as singles? Were there any other songs that you thought should have been a single off the record that now you're playing them? You're like, man, we should have put this one out. Or how has that changed over time?
I think we put the right songs out as singles.
Whatever we did it right.
Yeah. Those were just the first ones we recorded. We went in and did like a batch of songs, and they're like, all right, we'll use these.
We met with John Feldman, who produced the record from Goldfinger, and he listened through all of our stuff that we had, and he was like, okay, Until the Day I Die, that's a good song. We'll rework it a little bit, but we had that one already, like, it was pretty close to where it is now. And we just kind of knew that was like, that's our song. You know, it was always no question. That's going to be a staple. We didn't know it was going to do what it did. We didn't know it would have the success it had, but some songs you just kind of know. Anthem, I don't know how that became the second single. That was kind of random, but I guess it was just the same thing. That record just happened very naturally. I know we wanted In the Shadows to be a single for a little while because we wanted to put a heavier song out.
Yeah.
We wanted that to be the third single instead of Sidewalks.
Yeah, we didn't want to put Sidewalks out because we were like, no, people are going to think we're wimps, man. Because we were 23-year-old kids, you know,
Sure.
we were very worried about everything. But I still wish we would have put In the Shadows out. That would have been cool. But I think we kind of maybe did in Australia, but maybe I'm thinking of something else. No, Our Time Is Now was a single in Australia on the second record.
Did not know that.
It wasn't like
something
we
new
didn't do a
every day.
video. I
There
think
you
they
go.
played it. They started playing it on radio back in the day, but because we went there and we were really big that year in Australia on the second record.
I'll at least say that back when I saw you at Warped Tour, I think the year the record came out, and hearing In the Shadows live, I'm like, it should have been a single.
Well, yeah,
Should have been a single because this was going way
if
too
we
hard.
were going to go fourth single, we were going to do that, but then we did not.
Yeah.
They wanted us to take Sidewalks to top 40 radio, and we did not do that either. We purposely were like, we were very like particular about, we were getting big really fast, and it was freaking us out, you know?
You didn't want to end up in like an early 2000s like rom-com or something, teen rom-com?
I mean,
No, we had offers.
yeah,
Oh.
we could have
We
done
were-
a lot of things that we didn't do.
We were scared.
It's scary to navigate that when you're young and like trying to have street cred and be like, we want to be a cool band, and but we want to be successful. And it was different 20 years ago, like cred and what was cool and like don't sell out. You know, it was like such a big issue back then. Now the rules are like sell out as much as you can, or else you're not cool. And it's like it's very different now. You do what's right at the time. Figure it out.
Do you remember what any of those movies would have been if you did take them?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Dashboard has a song in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
That was going to be ours, but we turned it down.
No
You're welcome,
shit.
Dashboard.
Wow.
You're welcome, Chris.
Yeah.
I've told him that before
A
too.
reality show that was supposed to be done like on MTV. I guess we can say that. It doesn't really matter. They're supposed to do like a reality show. And like, oh, so we probably shouldn't say some of the other stuff. I don't want to piss anyone off.
No,
but-
yeah, but there was a couple movie things that just like, and it was never the Spider-Man thing was just like we already had a video done. It was going to be for Anthem of Our Dying Day, and Joe Hahn from Linkin Park had already done our video for that song, and it was a really cool video. Still love the video, but they wanted to put Spider-Man clips in the video.
Yeah.
And we were just like, man, we don't want to be the Spider-Man band, you know?
Well, it had to be like 40%.
Yeah, it was like
of
a
the
lot.
video.
And it would have
Yeah.
completely changed the video, and we really liked it. And it was more just an artistic kind of like, let's not do it. But probably terrible idea in hindsight, but no, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. I don't worry about it ever.
All right. We've heard from the band. We've heard from us. We've heard from people on the internet. And now we are here to answer the question, should you see Page Avenue Story of the Year at When We Were Young Fest? I think you should. Now, we just saw the 20-year anniversary where we filmed that interview with them. So I don't know if I'm going to watch it, but certainly like I love Story of the Year. I think that like they themselves are awesome people. I think they put on a phenomenal show every single time. They have only stayed as strong as they are. This album is so good. And so I recommend this to go and watch for sure. Like if we're not there because we've just seen this and we want to watch something else, that's fine. But I'm recommending it to anybody watching this. If you don't know this record, or if you do, like definitely go see it. We have already seen it and it was phenomenal. So recommendation, yes.
I'm a little bit in the same boat here, unless we're literally in the middle of the set and you get a sudden urge and you're like, Lizzie, we gotta go over here, and you pull me away from a set. I would go see it again, but we did just see them and I was very impressed by it. I mean, the next time they come through town, I would go and see them, and I would probably listen to more of their records because I have not listened to more Story of the Year at all. I would just go see them again in general, but at the festival, we already saw the album played in full, so I'm not gonna run from one set to another set unless literally I'm dragged away.
This would be on the top of my list had it not already happened for us. So that's the one issue is like, if there's an album that's being played at their own show, that's where I want to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you should go. We may not because we've just seen it and we liked it a lot. So we're recommending it to you.
Don't listen to the critics. They have bad vibes.
But that's what we thought. Are we right? Are we wrong? Will you be there? Because you should. I told you to do it. Page Avenue is a great record, and you got to let us know what you think about it. Let us know if we were right or wrong in the comments down below. Subscribe while you're there. We have a playlist with all the album reviews that we're doing for the festival. We'll hopefully have more clips from other bands that we've interviewed about these records. We'll have our friends on, all types of stuff. We are making this a whole thing. So be sure to subscribe. We got a lot going on with these reviews. We're very happy to be doing it and very happy to be telling people about these records we love so much. So until the next episode, Page Avenue, Story of the Year, When We Were Young 2024, we'll see you there.